great way to support our salty gameplay is by building your next deck using our TCG Player affiliate link provided in the description below.
Alright, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! Woo! Alright. What is going on, Kingdom of the Salt Lords, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Table Salt EDH, where this week, no gameplay episode, but that's kind of why we're here. We're going to be hyping up our next gameplay episode, which is going to be all about the new set release of Kaldheim. Very snow, very Viking heavy themes, which personally, I'm so about. And I'm going to go over 5 of my favorite cards, and I think everyone else is going to do the same. And Dom, if you want to lead us off, please, by all means.
I can take it off from here. So starting out, let's get through this. My first card I want to talk about today is Cosmos Elixir. It's a 4 colorless card at the beginning, 4 colorless artifact, beginning of your end step. Draw a card if your life total is greater than your starting life total, and otherwise, you gain 2 life. I'm a big life gain guy myself. I have an Allura deck that we haven't really displayed on the channel yet, but we're definitely going to include it in a future episode. And one of the things that always plagues me is card draw. So finally getting some card draw that I can throw in there because I have more life or gain more life is going to be a perfect fit and great fit for most of my other decks too.
Boom, and I think I'm going to take the next one. And for a number 5 for me, it's Reflections of Litjarrah. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but it's 4 and a blue, and as Reflections of Litjarrah enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. So, pretty much any tribal that has blue in it, you're going to want to play this. So, my Kumena deck, I'm going to want to play it. Eureka for ninjas, I'm going to want to play it. I love me some tribal, so I think it's going to be extra sexy to put that bad boy in there.
Alright, I'll take the next one. My number 5 on the list is In Search of Greatness. That's going to be 2 green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control without paying its mana cost. If you don't, scry 1. You could actually cast anything, any permanent. It doesn't have to be creatures, but my mind immediately goes to my dinosaur deck. I could just get some fat creatures out, cheat them on there. This is so huge. Not paying for things for only a 2-drop. That's amazing.
That's gross.
Yeah.
And if you can't drop anything, you're just scrying, right? So you're getting value out of it no matter what?
Yeah, huge.
Super gross. I mean, kind of to that theme, I think my first card that I liked was Savella. Am I pronouncing that right? Savella Iceshaper. The one...
Savellina.
God damn it, Keith. Why every time? Every time! Savella Iceshaper. 1 red green. You got me all fucked up now. Like stumbling all
Perfect,
over
we're
the
keeping
place.
this in. Go.
But I just like how, in my mind, I've always liked that snow theme of MTG, but there hasn't really been a set that supported that. So having a Gruul commander that can create mana rocks that are snow permanents, so that, you know, synergizes with a lot of other spells that require you to have snow permanents on the field, and then having it as a mana rock that you can tap for mana later on, it just feels like a lot of exponential growth potential. And then that 6 red-green ability where you can just tap them and then just cast shit for free off the top of your library within the first 4 cards feels like it'll be super useful because, you know, later on in the game, after you've been populating a bunch of mana rocks, you just use them to cast into huge Gruul creatures, which is the big thing for red-green decks, or, you know, just big old fat spells. Because I don't think it's just... Oh, it is spell. So it's not just permanent or creature, it's any type of spell.
Any spell, man.
I mean, if you want to, you can even go a bit of Storm in this deck, like a first Gruul Storm theme, because if you leave the mana up to cast instants, then you can use that mana that you're leaving up at the end of whatever turn cycle you're on to just create a mana rock. So it's not like you need to be casting spells whenever you have to. You can just create a mana rock or cast a spell and vice versa. So it just felt like it's very versatile for Gruul, and I like that.
Nice.
I like
You
that
get a little
lot.
scroll rack action, manipulate
Yeah.
the top of your deck,
little
know
bit.
exactly what you're going to pull off.
A bit.
Sounds pretty tasty.
It does.
What else we got? Keep it going.
All right, so I'm going to go into my second card. And if you know me, if you've watched any of our past games, you know I am the president of the Orlando Bloom fan club, which means I love Elf Tribal. So, of course, out of this set, one of the major inclusions had to be Tyvarkell Planeswalker for 2 green. One, its static ability just gives your elves the ability to tap for a swamp, which is good because so many mana dorks for elves obviously tap for green. It's their primary color. But getting that extra color in there helps with some of the mana correction you have to do in a Golgari themed elf deck. We've seen A-Bomb come up. Lathril is another good one that just came out. But it's got 3 abilities, bit of all of a text here. +1 ability is to put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target elf, untap it, and it gains death touch until end of turn, which is great. Just be pumping them up, give us some death touch that people don't want to block, get some damage through. 0 ability is just to create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. Always great to have more elves on the field, especially with some of this kind of synergistic abilities that elves have. And lastly, if you can pull this off, awesome. But for its -6 ability, its ultimate, you get an emblem, which, is always great to have, can't be removed. Whenever you cast an elf spell, it gains haste until end of the turn, and you draw 2 cards. So you're getting card advantage. Your elves that you're playing quickly can attack that turn. It just is a great all-around ability and a great inclusion in any elf deck you have.
And
so pass it over to Keith.
For my next one, and then actually like a little bit of trivia. Dom actually was like super close to getting surgery on his ears to get him like pointed like an elf, but I talked him out of it. He still said he might do it one day.
You weren't gonna.
Body
That's
water.
our 10,000 subscriber goal, Keith.
Yeah. So once we get
kidding, not legally binding.
yeah, once we hit 10,000 subs, like we'll do that, and we'll start a
I've already
Patreon. We'll start a Kickstarter. We'll launch it all off. Let us know if that's something you'd be interested if you want Dom to get his
Well, see, the
ears
problem here
surgically
is
altered.
I already have Hobbit feet, so I should just go full Hobbit, chop my, chop my legs off of my knees, just lose about 2 feet. I'm good. Get the pointed ears. Now I'm a Hobbit.
Now you're a hobbit.
It's gonna
Now I
be
get to
hard.
eat
It's
7
gonna be
meals a
hard
day.
finding good headphones once your ears are pointed.
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah.
We'll have to get custom ones made. So that's another thing. Like, we'll do a Kickstarter because if he goes through with this, he's going to need special headphones. So it's like, we just need your guys' help to get that going. Anyways, my next one is Icebreaker Kraken. 10 blue and a blue for, I believe it's an 8/8 Kraken. And like the only really real reason that this is on my list is because if you watch our set discussion that me and Sterling had, one of the things I wanted for the set was just a big ass fucking Kraken, and I got it. Just flavor wise, but the spell casts 1 less to cast for each snowland you control. When Icebreaker Kraken enters the battlefield, artifacts and creatures target opponent controls don't untap during that player's next untap step, and you can return 3 snowlands you control to their owner's hand and return Icebreaker Kraken to its owner's hand. So there's a lot going on. It's a 8/8, so it's a kind of beefy creature. Obviously, you'd be playing this in a snow deck, so like maybe Jorn would be a commander who would want this. And you can cheat it out for cheap. You can protect it by returning 3 snowlands you control to your hand, return it back to your hand, play it again, tap down someone's permanents again, and I don't know. I think it's just going to be fun. I'll probably never play it, but I just like to see big old Krakens in this set, and it was a fun one, so...
Okay, so my number 4 on my list is Haunting Voyage. That's going to be 4 and 2 black. I love the flavor of this one. So choose a creature type. Return up to 2 creature cards from that type from your graveyard to the battlefield. If this spell was foretold, return all creature cards of that type from your graveyard to the battlefield instead. And the foretell cost is 5 and 2 black. This one's fun because it's like the idea of the crew that got lost at sea is coming back as ghosts. So it's like a reverse field wipe. And in a tribal deck that has black, this is your bring all your cards, all your creatures of that type back out. So that could be awesome in vampires, late game vampires, slivers if you want, elves, Dom's elves. It goes in so many decks, and it's so fun.
Oh, boy, spicy. Lots of flavor themes going on here, which I fucking love. That's got to be the best part about these sets, right? Is all the flavor themes. That's what gets me, at least. That's what really gets me going.
Well, even if you don't necessarily, if you're not kind of hot on a set or something, getting a couple good pieces for some of your other decks is always one of the best parts.
Yeah, that's fucking huge. That's like the best part. And kind of to that flavor note, my next card is Jon, God of Winter, which, what's the color combination? Green, blue, black again? What's that one called?
He's Sultai.
Sultai, thank you,
Yeah.
Sultai. So he himself is just a mono green commander, but he flips into an artifact that costs 1 blue black, and that artifact, Cauldring the Rime Staff, I'm reading that right? You can just it's a legendary snow artifact that fits perfectly into that snow tribal theme. You just tap them to play any snow permanent card from your graveyard. So it's a little bit of graveyard recursion or card value without having to cast things from your hand or anything like that. So it's functional just as an artifact, or if you need to cast as its green commander, where when you're attacking with him, you're untapping all of your snow permanents. So it's just so perfect for that snow tribal theme. And anything like a Seedborn Muse effect is just so goddamn powerful, especially in EDH, because late in the game, if all your lands are snow permanents, if all your artifacts, creatures, whatever are snow permanents, you're just untapping them when you attack with Jorn. And just the value on that alone is what you need to close out games, especially with green spells or blue or black spells. Just being able to get that value is how you're going to close it out. So it's versatile. It gives you access to green, blue, and black, which are probably the 3 most powerful colors in Magic, in my opinion at least. So love the value, love the flavor, love the artwork too. I like the the mythic borders that they have for these cards. What are they calling those? Is there a name for those that they have? Or they have like the weird,
cool art.
Isn't it like the metal version or something? Like
the
a
metal version?
I think it is like some
Better.
metal version or something like that. Yeah.
I love the
Well, I know that there's 2 like text logos for Kaldheim. There's the standard kind of Magic theme, and then there's like the metal rock, like
the metal rock.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
oh yeah,
Just awesome.
they've officially hit 40-year-old.
Yeah, really. So just a big fan in general.
Oh yeah. All right, going on to our 3rd round here. Realmwalker, 2 and a green for a Changeling Shapeshifter. Great, just because it's going to give you a bit of a scry ability similar to like a what is it, Herald's Horn, that does the kind of look at the top card. Yeah. So enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. So you're getting a constant scry ability, always a great benefit. But you may cast spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. So if you look it up and you've got, Sterling mentioned his Vampires deck or his disgusting Silt Slivers deck. If you're playing A-Bomb, if you're playing Merfolk or what have you, being able to look at it, maybe not Merfolk because it's green, but hey, whatever. Being able to look up Scry, just kind of get a sense of what you're playing. Even if it's not a creature, you know what's coming up, you can plan ahead. Then also, if you want to be able to play with, let's call it 8 cards at one time without having to draw more, it's there. Good little creature, very low cost for what it's giving you, which I appreciate. And kind of along what Sean had mentioned, green really did get a lot of powerful cards in this set. Green and black, I would say, got a lot. I know there's a couple good red ones in there too, but I feel like once again they're kind of really pumping up the colors that were already strong. So, but I'm excited to try and throw this in a couple of my tribal decks, see how it plays out, and hopefully it doesn't draw too much salt.
Yep, next up for me is going to be Orvar, the All Form. 3 and a blue for a Changeling, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets 1 or more permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. And then text that you don't really care about: when a spell or ability an opponent controls causes you to discard this card, create a token that's a copy of the target permanent. But mainly, I like that first text. We don't got to talk about it too much. I mean, there's so much broken shit you can do with it. And one of these days, I'm looking forward to making a brew on that. I am a blue guy. I'm the blue guy of the group. I love the blue man group. Blue abadi abadai. So
he shaved his head just to be part of them.
Exactly. So, he
hasn't blued himself yet, or anything.
Not yet.
Would this be a good addition to Vial Smasher and Sakushima?
I'm thinking about it. I'm for sure thinking about it. It's just a fun card altogether, Like, I know it's going to be a little bit broken, and people are going to probably do things that are not very fun with it, but on the flip side, you could do like a Changeling tribal theme and have some fun with it and not have to be like too overbearing and too much of a dick, but I'll probably be a dick and do the other one, so.
That's what I was thinking the entire time. My next one is one I'm really debating making a deck out of. It's Arnie Broken Brow. Arnie Broken Brow. 2 and a red for a creature with haste. He has Boast, pay 1. You may change Arnie Broken Brow's base power to 1+ the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. Only activate this ability if this creature attacked. This is awesome. So the way I envision this deck with this guy going is you wait for someone to play something huge and you take control over it. and then you pay 1, and now suddenly Arnie's gigantic, and this is just a way to one-shot your opponents. This will definitely be salt-inducing. The other way you can do it is just pump the shit out of your creatures, which is very easy in red. So I think this would be a really, really fun one.
You are the red to my blue, buddy. We're meant for each other.
Sure are.
Is this the first set they've introduced Boast, or has Boast been a thing in other sets before?
No, the Boast is I think it's specific
new
to the
mechanic?
set.
Yeah.
I think it's new, yeah. Same with Foretell.
Ooh, and speaking of Foretell, my next card actually has Foretell stapled to it, which Doomscar, which I forget what it is on its face, but Doomscar, straightforward, is a very simple wrath effect. It's just destroy all creatures, but one of the best things about it is that it has a Foretell cost. So during your turn, you can pay 2 to exile this card from your hand face down and cast it later for its Foretell cost, which is 1 white, which, like all white wrath effects, it's all destroy all creatures. It's what white is pretty much known for, right? Just wrath effects, board wipes. And so what I specifically like about this card is that when you draw your opening hand and you have a board wipe in it, you almost want to discard it and try and draw a new one, because there's no way or no value to it early on in the game. But with this Foretell, there absolutely is. Because say that you have Doomscar in your opening hand, turn 2, you just pay 2 to exile it and save it for later. And you can cast that during your turn as a sorcery spell. Not instant speed, obviously, but...
And the exiling is such a killer feature, I feel like, for Foretell.
Huge, because you're not casting it as a morph. So it's not something that your opponents can interact with. It's just there in exile for you to cast whenever
Protected
you want
for
to.
whenever you want to bring it back
Whenever
out.
you want to pop it out. And a 1 white, a 3 total mana cost of board wipe of all creatures has got so much value to it, because you can just, whenever you feel like you need to, pop it up and be like, actually, you know what? I'm not liking this, so destroy all creatures. So
whenever Sterling's board state just starts popping off, that boy fucking saved up.
Me?
Whenever Keith has like 10 merfolk out.
I immediately
all
thought
your
of
travel
Merfolk and
fools.
Yeah,
That was
go
the
on.
first 2 things I thought of too.
But then, not only that, though, I think it's the ability of... And we know this, we're a channel where we are very open to making mistakes during gameplay, but we also forget about shit.
Yeah.
And so if a card is just sitting over there...
Dude, I will fucking put that out and I will never think about it again, dude. It will sit there forever.
Keith will be shuffling and be like, where is the... Oh, what the fuck?
Dude, someone will have to point it out to me, like in the comments, be like, dude, you remember you played Doomscar, right? Like, oh yeah.
Oh,
I could have won.
that would have been so useful later on.
That would have been great when Sterling had his mountain of slivers.
He'd like go to the kitchen to make food after the video and see a card face down on the counter and be like, shit.
But how true is that?
I probably
though?
wouldn't even think of it then, dude. I'd be like, what the fuck? How did this get here?
How did this get here? When did I put that over there? But I mean, how true is that though? How many games have we played where somebody's popping off with a whole bunch of creatures at the end, and you wish that you had cast a card into exile early on in the game that you could just pay 3-4 to wipe the board of all creatures? It's just flexible, a lot of value, board wipes.
I like that it doesn't
All
count
that
towards
stuff.
your hand size. Like, you can put a bunch of
that
cards down
too,
there,
yeah.
and you can fill up your hand, get a new grip, and it won't
Dude,
fuck
yeah.
up your
It's
hand.
like the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh putting a card
a trap
face
card.
down. It's a
Yeah.
trap card, yeah.
I'm really about
You've
that.
activated my trap card, but on
Super
my
about
turn
that.
only.
Yeah.
So that's why it's definitely one of my favorite cards.
Awesome.
Well, let's go into potentially salt-inducing cards for my 4th card. We have Essica, God of the Tree. 1 green for, it's one of the multi-face dual cards. So it's creature side. Vigilance, tap to add 1 mana of any color, and it has a static ability that other legendary creatures have Vig and can tap for mana of any color. Good, kind of little ramping ability on its own, but everyone cares about the backside. Came out wrong. Prismatic Bridge. Prismatic Bridge. Wooburg. For a legendary enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature or a planeswalker. Put that onto the battlefield and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Just every upkeep going through the top until you get a creature, just throwing it on the battlefield is huge. Especially if you're stacking your deck full of either very powerful, very quick, if they're all flying, if they're all this, they have haste, doesn't matter. You can do so much damage early on from this. Obviously you need Wooburg to play it, so it's got a higher cost. And then if it does get targeted, which it will, it's got a kind of a high cost to it. But I do feel like if you have it down for 1 to 2 turns, you can start kind of churning through your deck to be able to not only give yourself some shuffle if you're missing some lands, but get creatures on the battlefield, which is always huge. And being able to swing out with them. And there's nothing like playing, oh, look, I got into a crater hoof and I didn't mean to. Everyone's fine with that. It never causes any problems.
Never, not once.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't think we've ever had a problem with that kind of a card, have we?
Fucking crater.
No, of course not. No.
Definitely haven't had
trying
a
to
problem
get
with
that
Triumph of
big
the
fan.
Hordes, right?
Oh.
Yeah, imagine turning it into uncovering a crater hoof and being like, oh, I just so happen to have Triumph of the Hordes in my hand.
Sterling's favorite combination.
Oh my god.
All right.
I think he just had an aneurysm just by hearing that sentence.
This is not a thing. I'm not gonna keep dying to Triumph of the Hordes. We need to
Oh, yes,
nip
you
that
will,
in the
bud.
bud right now. That's not a thing.
We're gonna do a Kickstarter to get me, Sean, and Dom like 4 or 5 copies of Triumph of the Hordes just to use against Sterling.
I wonder if
Just all infect
I
decks.
wonder if Wizards will do an alter art of Triumph of the Hordes of me like getting poisoned and like sinking in
Yeah.
sand or something.
Sterling with just like 50,000 little pointers and like claws and stuff. It's just like
You gotta have like just a whole bunch of like poison arrows in your back.
Like those darts on Ace Ventura, like all in my neck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Anyways, my fourth one is Replicating Ring, which is 3 colorless snow artifact, and it's tapped to add 1 mana of any color, so it's just a mana rock, right? But it's a snow permanent, so if you're playing like with Jorn and he attacks, you can untap that shit, right? And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a night counter on Replicating Ring. Then if it has 8 or more night counters on it, remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicating Ring with tap, add 1 mana of any color. So very, very, very unlikely that you'll ever pull that off, but I'm thinking of like a Eureka extra turns deck, right? Where you're taking a whole bunch of extra turns and you just keep going back to your upkeep a couple times, kind of speed up that process.
Oh, gross.
Imagine throwing down a Dockside Extortionist after you do that.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right.
that'd be dope.
So, yeah, and we're not saying these are like the best cards of the set, right?
Oh,
Like,
God,
these are
no.
just our favorites, and like I would like to see a Replicating Ring hit that ultimate, if you will. 8 treasures, right? And like you don't even have to sacrifice those, so they're actually not treasures. It's 8 more Replicating Rings. So you have 9 Replicating Rings now. It's 9 mana.
So good.
If you
It's
could
the
ever get there, it's gonna
Scoot
be
Swarm.
Yeah, right. If you could ever get there, it'll be a fun thing to see.
That can
It's
go
game
in
ender.
so many decks that struggle with ramp.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, right. So yeah, any like Rakdos deck, right? Any like a Dimir deck,
Every single Boros deck.
Anything without green.
anything without green, basically,
Anything
right? You can
without
throw that
green.
in there. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely other, obviously better artifacts, right? For less that give you 1 mana of any color, but
Not many.
Has a potential
Not many this
huge
month.
upside.
yeah, this one could be fun, So
Pretty
like I say, not
unconditional,
the
too.
strongest card, but I think it'll be fun. Like
Yeah.
people will figure out how to break this,
Oh, for sure. For sure. Of course.
Okay, so my next one is Bergie? What do we like more, Bergie?
No, it's they
Fergie?
just released a statement. It's actually Bridgette. They fucked up on the typo.
Bridgette. My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. All right, so my card is Bridgette, God of Storytelling. That's going to be 2 in a red. The backside is Harnfell, Horn of Bounty. That's 4 in a red, which is a legendary artifact. Discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. I find that the back cards are usually underwhelming and the front-facing God card is usually the best, because definitely the case with Bridgette here. Whenever you cast a spell, add red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. And then there's creatures you control can boast twice, but we don't care about that. This red is definitely the most explosive color, and if you can cast a ton of spells and just ramp up with that free red mana, you can have some of the craziest, most explosive turns, like
Nasty.
turn 3 just dominating the board, and that would be so fun to pop off so quickly. So like the ways I think of doing this are like things like Ornithopter that are free, or that new red guy from Commander Legends, like
Rograk?
Rograk. Play him for
Rograk.
free. You are netting mana, like you're getting mana for free at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So like you just have to find a nice balance of like getting more cards and fueling, being able to fuel and get more cards. So that's might be a tough balance to reach, but I mean it'd be a fun deck building mission and it would be super rewarding once you pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes good in the 99 in a lot of red decks too, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it would.
Or like
Absolutely.
you put it in like a Niv Mizzet deck or any decks like that.
Oh yeah,
where
any
you're
spell
casting
slinging
spells,
and
spell
you've got-
slingers.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
my Zada
I like
deck,
that.
it would rail.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
God,
sure.
that'd be so gross.
I didn't even think of Zada. Yeah.
Wow,
I mean,
that'd be awful.
It might go in Kiki Jiki just to like get shit done. You
Okay,
can't copy
whoa.
it because it's a legendary.
Oh,
But it would.
helm of the host though.
Yeah,
Could be.
pretty strong.
Pretty strong and
Put that in a feather deck.
Ooh,
No.
oh, I didn't even think
God,
about that.
no.
Oh,
No,
That
please
might
God.
need
It's-
some serious consideration because
Yeah,
that could
that's
be
a
really
killer.
fucking
Is it,
It's a
is
killer
it
in feather.
spell or is it creature?
it's any spell.
It's spell.
It's
Any
spell.
spell.
So that and feather
I
that
just
could get
threw up a little?
real
Yeah.
gross.
And
later
feather,
on.
yep, you could pop off.
Feather's
man.
actually perfect for it.
Oh boy,
That's
maybe
like-
a little spoilers for our next episode we're about to drop. Little tease in. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, my
Let's not talk about this episode.
I'll talk about it all day long. No spoilers. All right, my next card is Graven Lore, which cost 3 blue for a snow instant. And it's Scry X, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast the spell, and then draw 3 cards. So, a lot of spells that cost this amount are meant to just draw you cards to refill your hand later in the game, right? So, especially for one that cost 5. But this one could get real fucking crazy because in a snow tribal theme, where if you're tapping, say, 5 snow lands to cast this spell, you're scrying 5. So you're scrying 5 and then filling your hand with 3 cards, which is just like later in the game can be so powerful because let's say if you're looking for a specific set of answers, you're almost guaranteed to hit that because you're scrying 5 and then drawing 3. So say like in a green deck where a standard draw 3 would be like Harmonize, you cast 4 to draw 3 cards. This, for 1 extra mana in a snow-based deck, you're scrying 5 first and then drawing 3 cards. So you're just basically looking for whatever you need to later in the game and at instant speed too. So you can leave up 5 mana to do whatever you feel like you need to as the turn cycle is going through, and then say towards the end, right before your upkeep, you cast 5 to cast Graven Lore, and then all of a sudden you're okay, scry, nope, oh, yep, like that, scry, oh, like that too. You manipulate the top of your deck and then draw 3 to whatever you want it to be, and it's useful, it's versatile, and it's snow themed, which is very on par for what I've been talking about so far this little episode here. So all about it. Plus it looks cool. I like that the rocks tumbling through snow, and they have the old Viking runes engraved onto them. So
That is sick.
big fan.
All right, so I think we're now on our final cards, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my favorite card. If you've watched our gameplay episodes, you know that there's one thing I love above all else, and it's mana advantage. I love having lands. I love it every day of the week. And so my favorite card from this set is the World Tree. It's land, comes in battlefield tapped, and it taps.
As a
for
surprise to no one who watches.
It's a
this
surprise
show.
to literally nobody. But it's that middle ability that makes this such a good card. So it's as long as you control 6 or more lands you control have to tap for any color. So it is Wooburg mana fixing across the board that you don't have to pay for. Obviously you have to have 6 lands on the field, but if you're in a Wooburg deck, you have ramp and you're trying to get in a lot of lands to begin with. And so you're going to hit that qualification pretty early on, but being able to then just not have to worry about what you're tapping is a fantastic feeling. At the same time, it's not an artifact, it's not an enchantment, and not many people, only real assholes play land removal, let's face it. No one's really going to be targeting it, and so it's going to sit there, and you're going to be able to kind of have that static ability for the rest of the game. It does have the third ability, which does then limit what decks it can go in, so that is kind of the drawback a little bit. It's got woo woo ooh ooh burr burr good. Sorry, double Uber. Wanted to do that. Tap and sacrifice to search library for any number of god cards. This is not Yu-Gi-Oh though, so I mean put them onto the battlefield, take your shirt off, rub your nipples, and then shuffle your library. I would like to know if that was Keith, because it is nipple related.
Could be.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
Keith. So, basically, you're finding God cards, rubbing your nipples, and putting them on the battlefield.
It doesn't work if you don't.
Question: do I rub the cards on my nipples first, or do they?
Yeah,
just
you gotta
fit
rub
in
your
Okay.
nipples with the cards. Yeah.
Okay, is it considered harassment to the gods? Like, I don't want to piss anybody off.
No.
Making a paper cut, so.
It actually appeases the Lord of Chaos, man.
Oh,
So,
it does, that's
yeah,
right.
you get a little bit of favor in with
And
them.
as we've
Sacrifice.
seen, you need to be in his favor, his or her favor, actually. So, it's a great card just to have down. The one drawback, of course, is that with the Wooburg, it limits what you can put it in. And I originally was like, I was so excited to put this into an Omnath, but they don't have a 5-color Omnath yet, which is kind of disappointing because I can't wait to see.
Is it really disappointing though?
Yeah,
or-
it's very disappointing because I really want to know what they're gonna do.
like I'm okay
I
with
do
it.
think it needs to be like
Draw 5 cards and scry 2, and you get to put
Every
5
time
extra
I-
lands on the battlefield.
Okay, so there's background here. Every time I play Omnath Locus of Creation, the draw ability just from him entering the battlefield pisses Keith off so much.
Because it's fucking unnecessary,
It's
man.
just so it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely gets me a little bit
Yeah.
salty.
Yeah. But it's so World Tree. It's a great card. I can't wait to include it in the next Wooburg deck I build, which is don't know when the hell that'll be, but it's definitely going in because constant mana correction is just really hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
hard
one
to
thing
get
that
rid
I
of.
was thinking of, didn't you
That's
want
it,
to do a god tribal deck at one point, like a Wooburg
So,
god tribal deck?
My deck that's probably not going to be good, but it'll just be fun, is an Elder tribal deck.
Elder tribal.
So
yeah.
obviously we play EDH, which we all know is based off the Elder Dragons, and I've always liked the idea because you saw McCoy's deck, which didn't do as well as he was hoping. He's working on
World Tree
improvements,
is
and
an
he'll be
auto
back
include
soon.
for this deck. McCoy.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, World Tree has to go into Dragon just immediately.
Yeah. Pretty much any
Yeah,
Wooburg deck, right? Like you got to put it
yeah,
in.
it has to. There's absolutely no downside to putting
Yeah.
it in there. But then I wanted to build the Elder Tribal, which has a lot of high costs, and there's certain ways you can obviously kind of accelerate that, but being able to correct lands for this, just like with the potential Dragon deck from McCoy and stuff, I think is going to be another killer feature. It's going to go in and hopefully give me some good advantage. Like Sterling said, though, as well, it's hard to remove, which always its own benefit.
All right, and for my final one, it'll probably be as no surprise that I picked the bluest red card out there,
The bluest red card.
which is Tybalt's Trickery. So it's 1 in red, and you counter target spell in red. In red! So I'm going to put it in any deck that has red that doesn't have blue. Because the thing about this, so you counter target spell, and you choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. Its controller mills that many cards, then exile cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card with a different name than that spell. They may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then they put the exiled cards on the bottom of their library in a random order. So my thoughts on this, right, is obviously if you're playing a blue deck already, probably not going to want this, right, because you already have a lot safer ways to counter spells. But in a Rakdos deck, in a Gruul deck, and a mono red deck, like this is a way to kind of get something like an immediate threat off of the board, right? Like if someone casts a game ending spell or whatever, you can counter
for
it
the
now.
hordes.
Triumph for the Hordes, right? Yeah. So and then also like you're not that big of an asshole though, because they're still gonna get something. So they're guaranteed a permanent, right? Because it says non-land card, so it's not like they get hit a land and then it's just a whiff. They're going to get something with it, and hopefully it's, obviously not going to be a bigger threat than what you're countering. But just the thought of countering spells in a red deck or my Rakdos decks or whatever, it gets me going. I really like it. And I do like the chaos aspect of it. It's kind of like chaos warp.
Yeah.
Right? So that part of it is really fun to me, because you're going to get something off, and then like there's going to be some kind of cool interaction that happens.
Oh,
and
for
maybe
sure.
someone fucking puts down an Ulamog or something, right? and you're just like, fuck. But that's part of the fun to me. So
Totally.
also I see this going in like a lot of EDH decks too, right? So like like a Godo deck, right? They don't care about what you get because they're just going to go infinite anyways. So I think a lot of CEDH decks that aren't in blue are going to be playing this card.
Oh, dude, especially because
yeah.
like a standard counterspell in blue is a blue, right? Like that's the standard counterspell. So this is just a red and then a colorless. So I think on its face, just that first part it's got to be the cheapest counterspell, like the full counter target spell, not counter non-creature or counter whatever. It's just target spell.
It's the first one that can in red that can do anything because you have the I think it's like Pyroblast. Yeah, it's like one red instant counter or destroy a blue thing. So this gets anything. Yeah. And I like what they included. The trick to it is how do you decide the 1 through 3 random? You just pick?
I don't know. I'm guessing you like roll a die or something.
So
you know
so either way, like
1, 2,
I like that's there because if someone tutored something to the top of their deck or scryed, you're eliminating those top 3 cards. So like they're not going to get something they wanted.
Oh,
so
because
like,
they're milling too.
So like I think it's key to do that after they scryed or something, and then
after Vampiric Tutor, right?
Oh yeah, any tutor card where you
counter the next thing.
Yeah, you might not even give a shit what you counter at that point.
You might counter your own. So, and another thing you could do is you have something in your hand and it's fucking dead and you have nothing, right? And so you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cast this creature and then I'm gonna counter it. And then you're gonna choose yourself and try and get into something better. You know what I mean?
Oh god, I didn't think about that.
There's a lot of flexibility, you know?
Wow. Yeah, so you could use it to your own advantage, like that chaos theme to your own advantage.
Exactly.
Whenever you need to. Like say at the end of the game where you have no idea what the fuck you're about to do, so you have 3 mana available, you cast a cheap spell, Tybalt's Trickery it, and you could 3 mana cast into some crazy powerful card that's in your own deck.
Especially like right
I didn't even think about that.
If you have like a scroll rack out or something, right, and or you're manipulating the top of your library in any way, so you kind of know what you're getting into. But I really think of it more of like it's just like a fun Hail Mary. Like at the end of game, you got nothing left to do. Like fuck it, you might as well try it. You know what I mean? As long as you have enough mana, like who cares? Cast a creature that you don't care about, or cast a mana rock that you don't care about because it's turn 15, right? Just counter it and get something else out. I'm super excited.
I think this could go in. Maybe not every single red deck, but probably most. It's huge.
A good amount of red decks.
The majority, for sure.
Like I'll play it in like a Grixis deck or an Izzet deck, just because I think it's fun. I don't think that's exactly optimal, but I mean we don't really play optimally anyways.
It's just fun.
I play for
and
fun. So yeah.
Plus, it could work to your advantage where if you're playing any kind of an Izzet deck and you leave 2 blue open, everyone knows where you're keeping those open. But if you're playing an Izzet deck and you keep an island and a mountain, or there's 2 mountains open, no one's gonna really be expecting.
Yeah, no one's gonna think, he's gonna counter it
from those colors. So it could give you a psychological advantage.
Yeah, very true, very true. It's just a fun card. I'm like, I already ordered like 5 of them, and I'm gonna put them in my decks. I'm like super excited for it. I mean, like I said, it's the bluest card I can get in red, and I'm all about that.
What would my reddest blue card be? Like Braids, maybe?
Yeah, I think Braids probably.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Orvar is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Orvar.
That's some kind of red shit right there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Bridgette. Like same kind of deal as Bridgette. You know what I mean?
Totally. Okay, so my favorite card from this set is definitely Goldspan Dragon. This one is 3 and 2 red, flying haste. Whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. Treasures you or treasures you control have. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 2 mana of any one color. This is so sweet. Wizards found a way to give red ramp, like in a red way, and it is through treasures, and now Goldspan Dragon is the pump for treasures. This is so damn cool. I immediately bought one to throw into Kiki Jiki because it's not legendary, which is great. It is not legendary, so I can copy it, and I can have 2 on the field. I can keep copying them, get doubles. It is so strong. I love it so much. And it's very
a lot of ways to go infinite with that too. If you work your way around it, especially in Kiki.
I'm sure it could. And this just goes in a lot of red decks too, right? I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Like pretty much any deck that cares about dragons, you're gonna want to have Goldspan Dragon, right?
Yeah.
I think Spellslinger decks, you'd probably want it in there too.
Yeah.
Feather
God,
deck
yeah, why
again,
not?
you'd want it in there too. Like,
Why the fuck not? Yeah.
you play a Dockside Extortionist, and you play this bad boy, right?
Oh my
like,
God, yeah.
You're
Game over.
You're getting a bunch of mana. Yeah.
It's all treasures too. It's not just treasures that it creates. It's
No,
all
all
treasures
yeah.
generate 2 mana, not just 1. So
And it's
that's-
only
no,
5
it's
to bring him
powerful.
out. He has haste, so you are immediately getting that too. Like if
What's
if,
the
nothing,
power
if
toughness?
nothing else, you're getting that too.
Yeah, and it's cool too because like it's whenever Goldspan Dragon attacks or becomes a target of a spell. So even if someone counters them, you're still going to create at
get
least
your-
a treasure token, right? So
imagine if he's in your Bridgette deck and you send him out, you play a spell and target him to pump it, like to give him I don't know, trample.
Oh,
you pump him,
gross.
you get mana. You pump him, you get mana. You pump him, you get mana, and you just keep going.
Oh my God. Or even
Yeah.
in Feather, where you're costing a bunch of low mana
Yeah.
spells that target the
He's
dragon.
paying
and
for
you're
himself at
creating-
that point.
yeah,
You're paying for yourself.
Zada again. You know what I mean?
Or even
Like,
Zada
yeah.
again.
Yeah, goes in Zada good.
Yeah.
Like it's just there's no
Goddamn.
way around it. It's a powerful card. I think it's going to see a lot of play.
The price
good.
point
They-
shows it's already like $22.
Yeah.
It's
Holy
crazy.
shit, is it really? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Guys,
They really gave
swoop up on that now
Red.
if you guys want one.
No, not now. Wait for it to stabilize. Wait for it to
TCG
Wait for us
player,
to buy them first, and then you guys can
Yeah,
go in and buy them.
stabilize.
Using our TCG affiliate link,
Let it
obviously.
stabilize.
Yeah, use our TCG. Wait, use our link to buy it now.
Yeah, no, I mean now.
Do it now.
I mean, if you wait till
Do
it
it now.
stabilizes, we won't get as much money. So.
Yeah, see if you buy it now.
Yeah, really,
that
if
little
it stabilizes.
extra
I like to change what I said.
to help
It'll
us.
never be this cheap. You gotta get it.
Well, and the truth is, it's going to stabilize a little bit, but then after this set goes away, it's going to creep up back up in price for sure. So
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure
just
it
get it before standard rotates out. That's for sure. That's all I got to say.
will. But if anything, this deck goes in one particular commander deck. Oh, that I'm so goddamn excited for. And that is my last and favorite card of the set, which would be Magda, Brazen Outlaw. So Magda, I think, was the first card they spoiled for Kaldheim, right? Maybe?
I think it was one of the first
One
ones.
of the
yeah.
first.
It was one of the
The
first ones
official.
or the first one. But so Magda is a creature. It's a 1 and a red for other dwarves you control gets +1/+0. So right off the bat, it's something unique to Magic, which is dwarf travel, which is something I don't think I've ever seen in Magic before. And then whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, you create a treasure token. And then also stapled to Magda is sacrifice 5 treasures. Search your library for an artifact or a dragon card and put that card straight to the battlefield in the shelf of your library. So there's a lot to unpack here, but I think first on its face is that sack 5 treasures to go look for an artifact or a dragon and put that straight onto the goddamn battlefield. It's an instant tutor effect in red that allows you to get whatever you need, whether it be an artifact or a dragon, and put that straight to the battlefield. And that is unique and crazy in a lot of different ways, but the first 2 methods that come to mind are you don't need haste effects for dragon in this because you can tutor out a dragon whenever you need to. Sack 5 artifacts, go put out a dragon, and the dragon could have an ETB effect that deals damage, or it could create more dragons, or it, in the case of Goldspire, it could create treasures, which just allows you to sack more treasures to go look for more artifacts or more dragons. And then say like you're looking for an artifact that does other things, like say you need an artifact that is going to draw you cards. Sack 5 treasures, go look for Immortal Sun. Or say you need to get rid of a permanent. Sack 5 treasures, go tutor up a meteor golem straight to the battlefield. Destroy any target permanent, and it's the versatility that I think Red has needed as far as tutoring things to the battlefield that I haven't seen yet. And then it just also, it's dwarf tribal, which you haven't really seen, and I feel like Kaldheim didn't have a lot of dwarves. I noticed a few dwarves, but not a lot of dwarves.
Yeah.
They could have done more.
Help out this deck. I think they could have done more, especially since they spoiled Magda early on. I feel like they could have done more. To
Here
release
comes the
that
dwarves.
synergize
2
with it.
more.
Yeah.
Here come the dwarves!
I
But
hope.
the crazy thing I noticed when building this deck, because this is going to be the commander that I'll play in our Kaldheim game, is
Whoa.
that
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
God.
Oh,
heard
God,
it here
was I not
first.
supposed to say that? I'm so sorry! God damn it. This is why I was so excited
You
to
heard
talk
it
about
here
this one.
first.
But I mean, so you didn't need a lot of dwarves in Kaldheim for this to work anyway, because there are already a good amount of dwarves in Magic that work perfectly in this deck. Like 7 dwarves, which is a colorless and red to cast a 2/2 dwarf that gets +1/+1 for each 7 dwarves you have in your deck, and you can have up to 7 of them
So cool.
in your deck. And then there are other dwarves that, like Blood Broiler Dwarf, which allows you to tap any untapped dwarf at instant speed to add +2/+0 to any attacking creature. So it's just, it synergizes so well and allows you to use a lot of dwarves that you would have no purpose for. In
Guys,
any
take
other
down
deck
notes because Sean's
previously,
basically
so-
just like naming off his deck.
Yeah, he's
I
talking
am,
about what's
yeah.
in his deck.
I
Hold
literally
on.
am. I'm telling you how to beat this deck as I'm describing
I didn't
the
hear him
commander.
say Blightsteel though. That's huge.
Honestly, I thought about putting Blightsteel in, but I just,
That's a Keith move,
That's
man.
how you fucking
I would respect
win.
I don't know. I'd rather have more fun casting weird shit than casting a generic spell that's meant to win you the game right off the bat. And in Magda, there were so many different ways to incorporate a lot of cards that you never see in Magic.
Yeah.
And I wanted to focus more on that than leaving in all the cards that you would normally see in any standard EDH deck.
Yeah.
So, like
Nah,
for
I
example,
respect that. I respect
like,
that.
I mean,
I
like,
would
for
have put
example-
in Blightsteel though, but
Oh, I mean, I thought about it. I was fucking close, but there are so many cool vehicles that I thought would be cool to include because, I mean, how many times have we played an EDH game with a vehicle involved?
I don't
have,
think
have we
it
ever? Like,
I really don't
not
think
once,
ever.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
think any of us have
I
played
can't
vehicles.
think of an example
yeah.
where
Well,
we've
then you
ever
tap
even
your
played a
you
vehicle.
tap your dwarves to crew the vehicles, and then you get the treasure tokens for
Which
tapping
is
the dwarves.
so on flavor
Yeah,
too. You
it's
you
good.
play like the Weatherlight or a smuggling copter, and then you just tap all your dwarves wherever you want, and it's like, get in, bitches! We're tutoring up treasures, we're getting dragons, we're getting artifacts, and it's just on theme.
So what you're
on
telling me
flavor,
is that
and unique.
you have a bunch of dwarves that can dig down deep for a fiery creature? Sorry.
Oh my god.
Zip out, Rog.
Oh, it's just everything I wanted out of an EDH commander, and then it's mono red too. And I don't have a lot of mono red decks, so this is just
Hey,
everything I
welcome
wanted.
to the club,
in
big guy.
Oh, feels good.
The best color
Feels good to
there
be a
is.
member.
Not the strongest, not the most reliable, but it's the best.
But the most fun. For
It is
Probably
the
is the
most
most
fun.
fun, actually.
It's for sure the most fun, except for blue.
yeah.
Like blue is just really fun.
Yeah, whatever.
We
No,
just
but
get to-
see, when you play blue, though, you get this, like, superiority complex.
Yeah, really.
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing I love more than like looking Sterling in the eyes and being like, "Hey, Sterling, no."
Or looking
You mean,
Dom
like,
in the face and
countering
being
an
like,
arcane
oh,
signet?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hey Dom, you cast an arcane signet? Well, tap 3 to unwind, so you know, cool.
Hey, there was a reason for that, man. I needed the trigger. All right.
Yeah, I was triggered in that instance.
You needed the
That was
Dom
great,
trigger.
dude.
People don't get mad at red players.
Yeah, never, not once.
It's so chaotic you can't. Like, unless they're doing like some kind of a Toralf like lightning bolt thing and like doing extra damage directly to you. It's so chaotic at times. It's like, well, I can't be mad because you rolled the dice 3 times and I had to mill 10 cards. Like,
You could just.
I will say though, I've been getting a lot less blue lately. Like I've been trying to do more like decks that I wouldn't do, right? Like I did a Boros deck. I have a Grixis deck which has blue in it, but yeah, okay, it has blue. Hey, I'm making a Rakdos deck.
I
will
built
say
a Rakdos deck.
I'm building a Rakdos deck for Kaldheim, so spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
There you go.
See if you can guess which one that
Are we
is.
spoiling?
Uh-huh.
Because I'm doing Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Exodia bitches.
All I can say is that the commander I chose was just an excuse to do Goblin Tribal in a ungoblin tribal shell, which I've been trying to do for a long time. I've just wanted to do Goblin Tribal, but not have a Goblin commander in any way. So that's why I went with the one that I went with.
It's so awesome.
I went with the one
I-
I went with for views and
Cardur.
subscribers.
It's Cardor, the Doomscourge. That's what I picked.
I'm between 2. So I am between 2 still. I've built neither.
Hey, if you've made it this far, comment which one you want Dom to do.
Yeah.
I
Now,
like that.
here's
I
the
like
thing.
that.
5 minutes to
It
make this
has
point.
it has green regardless. So that's it has to have green.
You
just
should be
because
banned from playing anything with fucking green in it for like. Well, you did make a Rakdos.
I just made a Rakdos deck. Ugh.
Yeah, but I mean like for a set, no green. For the next set, you can't do green.
I was going to, but I just paid money for a Rakdos.
We should do an episode where each player can't play one color.
Yeah, so no blue for me,
No red for me.
red for Sterling,
All right.
no
just
Green
for,
for Sean.
no green
just
for Sean, and
for
no green
shits
for
and
Dom.
giggles, I think we should all try a mono white game. Just
my
for
God.
We are Table Salt, and what is saltier than the shittiest decks we could possibly build?
And on that note, thanks for listening, guys.
And end the episode.
Let's get out of here.
Cut him off now!
Are we all done, though? Anybody else want to talk about some Kaldheim shit, or are we good to go?
I don't know.
Everyone
Let's
happy?
ask the viewers. What are you guys excited
Everyone
for
satisfied?
Kaldheim?
I like
Yeah.
that. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you feel like we haven't talked about things you want to hear about, just let us know. We're easy to reach. Email us, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. But most importantly, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Table Salt EDH. We really appreciate it, and we know this isn't a gameplay episode, and most people look for gameplay, so we appreciate it all the same, but don't worry, because gameplay's coming. So, stay tuned. See you.
Wait.
See ya.
If you've made it this far and you are still listening, the first 5 comments, if you are subscribed, I'll send you something.
But you have to tell. Wait, but you have to tell us who your
Shit.
top 5 Kaldheim cards are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
2
I like
qualifications. You have to
And let's
comment.
Be subscribed.
And let's also
comment.
do not the same people from last time. You're probably getting tired of our stickers.
that. But also
Yeah.
the
You
same
can
people
only
from
get
last
so
time
many
also
stickers.
comment.
Well, here's the thing. We love you. We love that you're engaging with us. We thank you for that. But
Yeah, Donovan,
we do want to
Alexander.
try and spread the love.
You're gonna get a shout out too.
No, you guys are the real MVPs, though. Thank you for always commenting on our shit. We really
Thank you to
do.
everybody,
you guys are
all
huge.
our subscribers. Like, you guys are the best. We've noticed a pretty good spike in our subscribers, so you guys must more or less like what you're seeing. So
And it
you've got more of it
really
coming.
is. It really is encouraging for us, and that's
It is.
that's what drives us to
Definitely.
keep making more content. Is because you guys like what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Even if
continue
you
to
watch us
engage
just to
with
make
us.
fun of us, we still appreciate it.
We still
Oh, that shit.
Because of
All
all
the
you
love.
guys, I was able to buy my
mean-
mom a house.
Oh my god. All right. Well, on that note, everybody, please like, subscribe, do your thing, support your boys, and we will see you soon. Catch you
ya.
next time on Table Salt
See ya.
EDH.
Call time coming up.
Blah, 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 blah.